Before we get started, I wanted to give a quick disclaimer. Please remember to be respectful at all times, as these are people's stories, life, and opinions that they are having, which are all okay to have. Also, some conversations might get a little too deep, which will make some of you guys uncomfortable. If that is the case, please remember that it is always okay to exit, and then I'll see you in the following episode. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoy this episode. Hello guys, welcome back to Floating Thoughts. If you are new here, my name is Lally and I am your host. If you are returning, welcome back. If you are watching, you could probably tell that I kind of changed the setting of it. We are having some reds and pinks and whites in this new type of look. But this is really season 2 of Floating Thoughts, so there are going to be a couple of changes. If you guys listened to the last episode, that was the last episode of season 1, and I kind of briefly talked about it, of how I kind of wanted it, well, not how I wanted it to look. I didn't have really much of an idea, but I knew the colors I at least wanted to introduce to this new setting. And so I hope that you guys like it and it's still a cozy vibe for you guys. I hope that you guys are doing super well and that you guys had a great week. So we are mid-January and I can't believe that the month is already coming to an end. I feel like January usually goes by super slow for me, but I feel like this month has been flying. I wanted to film today, and it's so crazy how everything works, because I really did not want this to be the first episode of season 2, because it's such a strong topic. But on the other hand, I feel like everything happens for a reason, and I think this needed to be the first episode. I always talk about how I want to be blunt with you guys and also introduce harsh topics that are not talked about. And so me neglecting this topic just because it's so big and sensitive would just not feel right. I also didn't know how I would want to introduce this topic, because like I said, it's such a sensitive, harsh, but also realistic topic that is happening right now as I'm speaking. And there's no right or wrong way. Well, no, there's a wrong way to introduce it, but there's no right way to kind of just start the conversation other than just starting it. So yeah, this is going to be one of those episodes. And like I said, it's just, I wish this wasn't the reality of it, but it is. And it's just sad. So as you guys know, Trump made office on the 20th of January. So there's been a lot of changes that have been happening. And one of them is immigration. And I just want to start off by saying that I am here for you guys if you guys need someone to talk to throughout these moments, because it is very difficult to kind of just talk to people right now. It almost feels like the world is dividing, and I do want to start off by saying that my trust is in God. It is not in one person or thing at all. It is in God, and I trust. I know that sometimes we question why he puts certain people as leaders, but I do believe that God can place you as a leader, but that doesn't mean you were meant to lead. And so that's my spiel with that portion of the things. But I do want to say that with everything going on, everywhere and on social media, I kind of want to explain a little bit if you guys are not very much aware. But Trump is trying to kind of send illegal immigrants back to their country or whatever. And as a daughter of 2 loving immigrant parents, I feel like this particular topic hits home because my because whenever I was younger, my parents weren't not legal, of course. It's a different time right now as I'm talking to you guys. Both of my parents are citizens, but that wasn't always the case. My parents are two of the most hardworking people I've ever met. And my hard work and my just wanting to be better and work hard comes from those two immigrants. My dad started his business at the age of 22, and so I've always kind of made it a joke that I've always was behind, because he was married, he had kids already, and he had his own business at such a young age, but he always had that mindset of like hard work would take you far. Both of my parents are business owners, and they've always just put that mindset in us that you can't accomplish anything if you're not hardworking. And it's just sad to see that. If I get really emotional, I didn't think I would be, because I think I'm feeling a lot of emotions. Like, part of my emotions are like anger, I'm upset, because when you know that you come from a culture where I'm Mexican, so when you see that they're being called rapists and murderers and just such disgusting names, it hurts, because you know that that's not what they are. And I'm not saying that everybody is perfect, because I think just there's a lot of things that people do, unfortunately, and they're not the best things or the best choices that they make. But to sit here and just categorize a group of people as bad, it just hits different, and it does make me very, very angry. And I think I've always wondered why, the whole why of like, why am I so sympathetic and empathetic towards situations? And in situations like these, I come to understand that I'm glad I am, because scrolling online and seeing how apathetic people are towards this whole situation is truly, truly disgusting. Even people of our own kind are just kind of, putting their 2 cents in, and not in a good way. And I think that thankfully, my situation with my parents, they became citizens, and it took time, and it took a lot of time. My mom literally just became a citizen like 2-3 years ago, and it's so crazy to know that it took so many years, and people think that everything is so easy, and that there's a right way to do it, and you have to do it this way because that's the only way it works. And what they don't understand is that even if you do it the quote unquote right way, there's not always a positive outcome. And I do think people need to be more educated on that. We have the luxury that we have all these resources of internet and who we choose to listen to. And I feel like sometimes we choose the wrong people, or we choose the wrong sources, or just simply what we want to hear. Because the reality of it is that it's not an easy process. The process is extremely long. And like I mentioned, it's not always a positive outcome. So just because you start that process, it doesn't mean that the end result is going to be you becoming a citizen. And I think that's the part that just irks me the most, that people just think that by you doing it the right way, it's just going to be in a blink of an eye, everything is right. And that's not the case. Also, I think it angers me that people just see Hispanics as illegal or as immigrants. There's a lot of people that are immigrants, and I think that's very important to mention, because I think people are just so blindsided by that. I think that even right now with ICE just raiding places, it just happened in New Jersey, and it's crazy to hear that some of them were citizens that they detained, and it's kind of like still like a very stereotypical thing, because how what kind of people are they just assuming that are illegal, and to know that even you as a citizen can walk out and people are going to assume because of the color of your skin or a particular way that you look that you're an immigrant is truly, truly terrifying to some people, because I know that can be very traumatic to a lot of people. And so it is a very difficult time. And this is not the only thing that's happening. I think I do want to touch down on every little thing that has been happening since the 20th. But I do want to focus on each topic and kind of make an episode on each topic of what like I've researched so far. But I do think that it is important to kind of speak out on it if you have any type of resource, because I know I'm going back and forth. I just feel like there's just so much to say, and like, not that there's not enough time, but everything is happening so fast. And I was just thinking about it the other day. I was scrolling down TikTok, and I was thinking about how I think it was like whenever Obama became president. Mind you, I was young at that time, but I remember he had mentioned something about immigration and like deporting immigrants. And I remember the moment that he won, I went inside of one of my friend's restroom and I started crying. And I called my mom, and I was just telling her, like, what are we going to do? Because at that time, she was not a citizen, and I don't think she was even a resident. So I remember I started crying. I was shaking so bad. And all I could think about was that I was going to lose, like, my parent. Who was I going to stay with? All these thoughts, mind you, as a child. And I remember her just telling me that, everything's going to be okay. We're just going to leave it to God. And it's just a scary time. And that feeling that I think about then, it like shakes me up a little bit, because I am so thankful that God granted my parents citizenship. But that same feeling that I had then, I can imagine a lot of people are going through that same feeling and emotion, and kids are feeling that right now. And I don't wish that feeling upon anybody. And like I said, I am extremely blessed that I have that ability to, not fear, because I know that my parents and my family, they're all legal now. But then it just makes me realize how privileged I am and how privileged a lot of us are, because if we wanted to, we could ignore the issue. And I know a lot of people are probably like, okay, so why do you care if, it's not happening to your family? But it's like, how can you not? How can you just sit there and scroll and watch like innocent kids, their parents be taken away, and they don't know what they're going to do? This is all they know. This is all they've built. And it's just hard sometimes to talk to people that are not going through it, or just can't understand what it feels like, because they won't see it as an issue. And I truly pray that it doesn't continue progressively getting worse, because I don't know. I just think that we're moving backwards, and it's such a scary thing to say, because you always hear history is going to repeat itself, and it's just kind of frustrating, because it's just kind of like, how much longer, like, are we going to keep dealing with this? Like, and it's not just that, it's everything. It's literally everything. And I'm just so annoyed, and I'm so tired, because even when you don't want to hear about it, you're going to hear about it. And it just feels like everything is getting worse. And I don't know. I'm feeling a little like, in a way, I don't want to say defeated, because again, I am praying about it and I'm putting my trust in God. But it does feel like that sometimes, especially when you just see a lot of people being ugly and not even talking about it. It's just kind of, when somebody, I don't know if you guys have ever experienced, like, someone close to you die, and it kind of feels unfair because it just feels like the world keeps pushing and moving forward and you're just kind of stuck in the same time zone, like in the same timeline. It just keeps repeating itself the same day or whatever. And it kind of feels that way. Like, it feels like you see it and then you don't want to, you want to do something about it, and then it's so hard to do something about it. But then kind of like the world keeps spinning, and that's kind of what sucks. It sucks that people are not giving this as much attention as it needs to be. And then, like I said, it's not only this. I do think that there are a lot of more things that are going to start popping up that are not right. And as far as for like immigration, you're going to hear me say a lot of like, it truly sucks, because literally that's just how it feels. It just sucks. But I think that sometimes if you just get to know people, because a lot of people have amazing stories as to why they came here to get a better life and, have a better future for their kids. And I feel like sometimes you talk a lot about like, the American dream and stuff, and it's starting to feel like, an American nightmare. It's truly starting to feel like we've been cheated. Everything that you've accomplished is sometimes for nothing. And I think instead of uniting as humans, we are just separating more, and we're building more hatred than love. And that's also another scary thing, because it just feels like you don't have the support. And I feel like with that, it's just like a domino effect. It feels like then that's when like races divide too, because it just kind of feels like, oh, the only ones supporting us are like Hispanic people, or and it's just, I don't know, it's just hard. It's just hard, and I don't understand it. I don't understand it, and it's scary because there's just so much to touch on. And I don't know. I also, something that's been also like bothering me is the fact that there's a lot of people, a lot of creators that have a big platform where they can kind of talk about it and speak on it, and they don't owe anybody an explanation. I'll give them that. But I think it's like, you kind of want to use it for the good, and it doesn't make them a bad person. It's just the fact that I feel like staying silent brings nothing good. I feel like I mentioned it before, but your silence is neither here or there. Like, you're not making a change. And I know some people believe that you saying something is not going to make a change, and I don't know. For that, I just beg to differ. I feel like doing nothing about it is what's not going to do anything about it. But I really wanted to make this episode because I want to say that if you are feeling those emotions, if you're feeling angry, sad, if you don't even know what to do, if you're just feeling like numb in a sense, it's all okay. Those are all feelings to feel. I think with all the information that we're getting, and it's different every single day, and we're learning new things, it can be very difficult. Also, I feel like a lot of people are focused on not sharing their 2 cents or anything, because I think we live in a very social media world where people are more focused on losing followers rather than people's livelihoods. And that's also a scary thing, because it's like, how did we get here? How are we just moving backwards instead of forwards? And how are we just repeating history instead of trying to make it a better place for our future, for our kids, just for everybody? And just like, when did we just stop caring about humanity? Then that's the thing that just kind of makes me very mad. Like, it's just the fact that, oh, and then another thing that it's so crazy to me. It's so crazy to me that we are calling these people immigrant, and these people rapists, whatever, murderers or whatever, and then we're sending them back to their country where they originally fled. Because, for example, I'll speak on Mexico with all the women. They're killing women. A lot of women are fleeing. They're coming here for a better place. Now we're going to send them back to where they're being killed, where they're being murdered. And then these are the same people that are saying, go back to your country, that then will post, oh, stop hatred, stop whatever, prayers for Mexico. But it's like, we're doing it to each other. We're doing it to each other. Like, not every race is going to have one person that's going to be that quote-unquote bad apple. But we need to stop seeing that person that defines the whole race. And I feel like even like that, a good example is with the whole, like right now with the whole immigration thing, we just see a lot of people are just talking about Mexicans. And it's kind of like frustrating too, because I'm like, you guys do understand that Mexicans are not the only people that are immigrants here. And it's not just Hispanic people. We have a lot of Asian people. We have a lot of Middle Eastern people. We have a lot of people. And in the fact that we're just focusing solely on one race is just mind baffling. And yeah, just I am angry. And like I said, I just wanted to make this episode for you guys, because I have a mix of emotions. I can't even talk right, I feel like, today. But I do want to say that if you are feeling all those emotions, feel them. You have every right. But also, I'm going to try to do my part by linking some of the sources that I have found that explain your rights, because please know your rights, especially if you are presented in a situation where, you are not legal here, and you're having trouble maybe going to work, or just need help and need to know your rights as far as what to do whenever, and I hope not, but if ICE was to come to your job, or how to act, because there's a lot of things that you can do, and sadly we are in this situation where it's tough, and my prayers are to find that peace comes more to the world, and that this kind of stops. But everything happens for a reason, and I just hope that you guys stay safe and that you guys are having a better week. But yeah, if you guys need anything as far as for you need someone to speak to, or you have some sources that you want to share so I can share them in my next episode, feel free to message me through Instagram. I'll leave my social media link below. And just remember that God is with you guys, and that if you feel alone or you just need someone to talk to, I am free for you to message me. And if you have any facts, any things that you found that you would want me to share in this next episode, I am more than glad to do so. And if you have any negative thing to say, I am always for people's opinions and whatever you want to share. But as far as comments, if you are even thinking of leaving a negative comment about the situation, I can't stop anybody from doing anything, but I can say to think twice of what you're going to leave behind, because there are children that are being affected from this. There are close people that you probably are not even aware of that are being affected by this. And there's a lot of people that don't share that they are illegal here because of out of fear, and those could be your friends. And so please be mindful of that. You never know when the roles will switch. And I'm not saying I don't wish it upon anybody, but you never know when it could be you or it could be a loved one that you know that will go through this. So please remember to always be kind, because you just never know. And I would hate for it to happen to one of you guys. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I am excited to start this new season with you guys, and I hope that you guys have a great day. Thank you. Bye.